Warning: the following video contains flashing lights. If you are photosensitive, please turn off the video now. I know I mentioned in my previous review that I don't feel like I have the experience to review a rhythm game. I still don't, but during the last few weeks I tried to review a different game. I couldn't get into the first one, and the second one ended up leading me into what I'm now doing for this video. This isn't a full-on review per se, but more like what rhythm games I recommend for people to go out and try. I should also mention that I'm not that great of a rhythm player. I can do some high difficulty songs, but I do end up failing a lot. If the game has it, I always activate any no-fail modifier. I always prefer playing through the whole song, even if I did fail. I mean, how else am I going to improve in a game if I always fail and get kicked out of the song? I'm also not gonna go into extreme detail with any of the modes outside of the usual rhythm game that many play these games for. But there will be points where I will explain things like gameplay mechanics and what makes these games enjoyable to me. So without further ado, let's begin with something a little off the way. Give me a moment. Touhou Danmaku Kagura Fantasia Lost, or just Kagura because that's a mouthful, is going to be the most recent game on this list. It's a rhythm game that exclusively only has Touhou music. It plays in a 6-key format, which pretty much means that you have 6 buttons to worry about, and every song has 4 difficulties from easy, normal, hard, and the always Touhou Lunatic. The song charts actually differ on how you play depending on the difficulty. If you choose either easy or normal, you only play on 4 lanes. Hard and Lunatic play on 6 lanes. This originally was a problem for me because when I was getting my bearings in the game at the beginning, I needed to adjust between the 4 and the 6 keys, which it's always a hassle. They updated the game a few months later after release to have the option to randomly move one of the outer keys to one of the 2 unused lanes to make every difficulty a 6-key format. I'm also using keys and lanes interchangeably, but well, key, lane, it's just what lane or key you're going to be hitting. Kagura does have a story mode, and that's where you unlock a majority of the songs. You can also buy the songs with the currency you pretty much constantly earn. The songs in the story mode also all have different challenges to them, which makes things interesting. There's also the titular Danmaku battle stages, which combines the playstyle of Touhou with rhythm game mechanics on the edges of the Danmaku screen. Of the 4 games I'll be mentioning, this game sits at either the second most expensive or the most expensive, sitting at $29.99 right now. The game also has DLC, with the deluxe version adding the first 4 DLC packs with over 20 songs each, and a season pass that includes another 4 DLC that adds 10 songs each. And yes, the second set of DLC is cheaper because of the number of songs. As of this review, the 8th and final DLC, I think, will be releasing in April, and I can't wait for it. You know, after just reading that last line on my script here, I just noticed I wrote down review instead of, well, whatever this thing honestly is. Well. The next game I want to talk about fits more in the mobile department, but it does have a PC version available, so next game. Yeah, future script writer Zato here, or script reader. I had to double check the prices because owning the game and the bundle doesn't show you the price of those bundles anymore. on Steam if you have them. So I had to double check with an with a not logged in account. Yeah, the Toho Danmaku yada yada yada. Um, yeah, that one would actually be the most expensive game if you bought all the DLC on this from this video. The deluxe edition would be about like 67 USD, and the season pass would be another 25 USD. Yeah. So just thought I'd mention that. I honestly thought I didn't think about it when I was writing it about how much this game costs. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit stumbly for the next portion, and I honestly just didn't want to type it just because, well, I actually looked it up before I got to the editing portion. So yeah, on with the video. Alright, after that little screw up, Muse Dash could actually be like either the cheapest or the second most expensive game on this list. The base game will only cost you about $2.99, and it offers access to a couple of DLC songs every week for free. If you'd like to get access to everything, then Muse Plus DLC is going to cost you $34.99. I actually had to double check the DLC because it looks like they changed how it works. The Muse Plus DLC originally replaced the Just As Planned DLC, which gave access to everything and all future DLC. Plus originally gave people who purchased it a discount on all DLC packs that released from that point onward. It seems like it changed September 2024 to how the original DLC functioned. It's still a good investment if you're actually interested in picking up the game. The game works on a 2-lane system with nodes, enemies, showing up on the top and bottom lanes. The game is deviously simple, really. You only have to worry about 2 lanes. What's there to worry about? A lot. On high difficulties, both lanes can get really swamped with enemies, which can easily cause problems if you're only hitting 2 keys. You can make things easier by choosing certain characters who have different passives. Some are simple, like extra score, meter, or health, and there are some that can negate traps. It can actually get complicated depending on how you want to play the game. In fact, there's also a little support buddy that negates passives, making it so the character you play is just a skin. It actually makes it so you can control the auto-win character. There is a lot of music in this game, and I do mean a lot. Over 600 songs are available in the game, outside of a few exceptions. Most of the songs all have a theme for their charts, and there are a couple that are different. There are some songs that can mess with you in different ways. Most notably on this list would be Mope Mope. There's a lot of songs like that in the game. But let's take a step to another game that I originally didn't have planned for this video. But thinking about it, it's a good step before I introduce the last one. Before the Echo, or Sequence before the name change, is an interesting game. It mixes rhythm and RPG mechanics into a whole mess of insanity. This is the oldest game on the list and is priced at $4.99. I remember I picked up the game because it looked interesting, and it was honestly worth it to me. The game field consists of 3 different tracks, with each one serving a different purpose. One allows you to recover mana, another is for defending enemy attacks, and the last for casting spells. You're always switching between all 3 lanes, where the goal is to kill the enemy. Letting the song end results in a loss. Winning a battle gives you experience to use to craft different items and weapons to grow stronger. There are a couple of negatives for this game. One is being unable to play previous songs unless you restart a new file. The second is needing to battle enemies over and over again for specific drops so you can craft. The game actually shows you what chance you have for every item, and sometimes they can get pretty brutal, if I remember correctly. I think I remember one time I did like one song, like maybe like a good like I don't know, it feels like 20 times before I got the item. I'm bringing up this game because there's one specific gimmick that the game has. It has an ARG. This is one of the most interesting tidbits about the game that I remember, and solving it gives you access to the strongest weapon in the game, and access to the hidden ending. Because of how this game plays, this was honestly a one and done for me. But I did enjoy playing the little bit I did for this little tidbit of a video. So why did I bring this up? Simple. The next game has a similar gimmick. Now, what can I say about Vivid Stasis? It's a 4-lane style, pretty simple. There's plenty of music in the game, but this is the last game in the video, so what's the catch? Well, one thing I want to mention is that this game is free, so it's also the most accessible game out there from this video. It's also mentioned that it's going to stay free once it gets out of early access. I honestly want to give the devs some money because, honestly, I know I keep saying that, the game is worth it. Now, just because the game is free, it doesn't mean it's a walk in the park. Almost everything needs to be unlocked through its story mode, or the node floor chart as it's called. Yeah, the game does have a story, and I honestly do need to go through it. One of the updates changed how certain modes were unlocked, so I started speeding through them before I found out that there was actually an easier way to re-access those modes through the options. Because I'm honestly glad for that, because there's actually one mode, the sound scan, I think it's what it's called. That's honestly one of my favorite game modes. To access the story and the songs that are unlocked through the node flowchart, you need something essentially called battery. And you get that through playing songs in the rhythm mode. Playing these will give you both battery and points, which you can use to unlock the node points in the node flowchart and buy stuff through the shop. And looking through the song list in rhythm mode, it doesn't show you everything, but there's a lot more to unlock. Now let's talk about what makes this game so special. Remember how I mentioned in sequence that it has an ARG? This game is essentially ARGs. To unlock boss stages, you have to play through the chapter songs and complete specific challenges related to those songs for each difficulty you want to do. And when you do that, you have to solve a puzzle in the node flowchart, which gives you a code on a website to enter on the website, which will give you a code to actually start the boss fight. Remember how I mentioned earlier that I was skipping through the story mode to unlock the other modes? Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I just thought the game just had a heavy visual novel story. Second chapter did the same, and when I finished, in heavy quotes, the third chapter, I got really confused because I looked things up, and apparently there was a new chapter that got added to the game recently. Yeah, I had to look up a guide, and apparently there's more chapters to unlock. And to get to the chapter 3 boss, I have to go through a different game mode outside of the node flowchart. It's a maze with a lot more songs to unlock. At this point, I don't know what else the game can throw at me. Just exploring this maze is crazy enough. It's so massive that I feel like I'm just playing a different game at this point. I feel like there's nothing else that this game can do to surprise me. And for our final surprise, Vivid Stasis has gimmick songs. I don't have them all unlocked, but there's a good chunk of them that are labeled as gimmick songs. And they all do something to break the regular flow of regular charts. This is what I originally knew about the game, and what made me want to show off this one in particular. There are plenty of charts like this, ranging from changing speeds to, well, This has easily gone up on my list of favorite games. And I know that after I have this video published, I'm going to have to go back into it and watch all the story bits that I missed. Trust me, I was originally going to just watch the story after I finished unlocking more of the songs, but that maze gave me a small peek of whatever kind of insanity is truly hidden with this game. And that's all the rhythm games I wanted to show off. Sorry if anyone was expecting another regular review. This month just fought me in figuring out what I wanted to do. I ended up changing ideas several times and recorded 2 other games before dropping those before sticking with this idea. Hell, the original idea for this video was going to be an April Fool's of me just going with crazier and crazier rhythm games before just deciding to just show off these games instead. Next month will be an actual review, and ironically enough, unlike what I've had written on this script, I have changed ideas one more time because of a certain game that's coming out. And I think it's time for me to actually go and check out its sequel.